Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It's the 24th day of October, 2022. I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope that this Monday finds you healthy and safe. And the same could be said, hopefully, for your family, that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders, who every day are trying to save lives. Blessings upon those also who pick up garbage to keep streets and sidewalks, highways and parks clean. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries for our convenience of important things like food and water. Double blessings on the men and women who are out here trying to rescue, deliver, and recover. The victims, the teenagers, and the children who are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims of pornography and child pornography. The victims of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims of sex slavery and human trafficking, and double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who are out here peddling human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, nearly 600,000 men, women, and mostly children who are living on the streets of the United States of America and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, the Knicks tonight are going to play a basketball game. The game is against the Orlando Magic. Now, this game, the Orlando Magic, we can't take for granted, obviously. We gotta take care of business. Knicks gotta take care of business here. This is not necessarily going to be an easy game. In fact, no game in the NBA this year it can be considered easy. The critical mass is building of great coaches, top-notch scouting, and development. It's a theme throughout the NBA. And so you're seeing a lot of organizations develop. I mean, look at Orlando. They have as their head coach a young, energetic, dynamic Jamal Mosley. And he's a good candidate, a good head coach. And they have a young, talented roster. Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, Paulo Banchero, their most recent pick, Wendell Carter, Markelle Fultz, R.J. Hampton. They got a bunch of, then there's Jonathan Isaac, then the veteran like Terrence Ross, there's Jalen Suggs, Franz, and Mo Wagner. They got a lot of young talent on their team. Okay. So these guys are up and coming. They're still developing. Okay. And so it's like every other organization in the NBA. Everybody wants the same thing. Smart teams are catching hold of what we talked about yesterday in terms of the basics, development, scouting, solid organization, everybody on the same page, blueprint, roles, so on and so forth. Everybody's developing that as best they can. And so you're moving in the direction where everybody in the NBA is doing the same thing and they're building it up, and the competition is going to be rougher and rougher. So the Knicks cannot take this team lightly at all. But at the same time, that being said, I feel like the Knicks are going to win this game, and they should win it handily. And the basic thing is like this: we're further along than Orlando. We're further along in all those areas: development, scouting, drafting, seasoning, coaching. We're further along. The management's further along. We're further along in our program of development than they are. Simple as that. Doesn't say that they're not going to eventually get to any high level. You can't put a cap on it. But for tonight, the Knicks are in a very good position in dealing with the Orlando Magic. Now, that being said, you got the Orlando Magic tonight. Okay. And then you got the Charlotte Hornets on Wednesday. Another game where Charlotte last night just blew out. Who is it they blew out last? I was watching the game. They blew out the Hawks last night. Yeah, they blew them out. And the Hawks, a full contingent. The only thing the Hawks was missing was Bojan Bogdanovic, but they had everybody else. And they got blown out last night by, they got blown out by the Charlotte Hornets. And Charlotte Hornets, their starting point guard was not LaMelo Ball last night. They didn't have Scary Terry or LaMelo Ball. They had the rare occurrence of Gordon Hayward, but their starting point guard was Dennis Smith Jr. That was their starting point guard last night. Dennis Smith Jr. was their starting point guard last night. And they blew the Hawks out. Okay, so you can't sleep on them for sure. They don't have, they don't have Miles Bridges, but they started at the 4th spot. They started P.J. Washington. They had Gordon Hayward, Plumlee, Dennis Smith Jr., and Kelly Oubre. That was their starting 5. They had McDaniels coming off the bench, Jay Thor, and Richards, a dude that we never even heard of. Even the announcers, I never heard of, dropped 20 on him last night. They had Theo Maledon. He was all right. Boat Knight played 18 minutes, got 10 points. But with that crew, they blew out the Hawks with Trae Young and all of them. Capella, they was all there. And they got blown out in Atlanta last night. Okay? So, look, this ain't going to be easy. But those 2 games, Orlando and Charlotte, are the easiest games left in this recent schedule for the Knicks, because after these 2 games, so that's tonight against Orlando and Wednesday against Charlotte, after these 2 games, it gets real interesting in New York, because now you got to go to Milwaukee. You're playing the Bucks on Friday. Sunday, you got Cleveland. And then the following Wednesday at home, you got Atlanta. Then you're in Philly, Boston, Minnesota. It gets to be, it's what we talked about before. The Knicks got the murderer's row of schedules. So they got to take care of business tonight at home against Orlando. And I'm very confident they will. As we talked about yesterday, the template is in place. Thibodeau got enough confidence in enough of the young players that we have, namely RJ, Mitch Robb, RQ, Obi Top. He's got enough confidence in those young guys to play them. Okay. And I loved how he distributed the minutes in the Detroit game. I mean, I really hope he continues doing that. If you look at the Detroit game, Randall played 25 minutes at the 4. Obi played 21 minutes at the 4. Randall scored 15. Obi scored 16. See, that kind of thing. Mitch Robb played 23 minutes at the 5, of course. He had 2 blocks, 5 boards, 4 on the offensive end. And then you had Isaiah Hartenstein play 21 minutes at the 5. And he didn't score. In fact, he scored 6 points. He had 11 boards. I mean, that's what you're looking for. That's the kind of thing you want to see. Okay. The mixing of the minutes like that. Fournier played 20 minutes. And then you had Emmanuel Quickly let me catch up with him. Emmanuel Quickly played 27 minutes. Reddish played 19. That's a nice mix of minutes. If he can continue that, the Knicks are going to be tough to beat. They'll win games that they're supposed to win, like this game against Orlando. They'll win games that they're supposed to win. And this is a game the Knicks are supposed to win. Now, again, I'm not trying to say Orlando is a scrubby team. I'm just saying that to me right now, there's no scrubby teams. There's rebuilding teams. And Orlando is that. They're a rebuilding team. And rebuilding teams, are dangerous. Last year, we spanked Orlando the first time we played them in October, and we lost the second time we played them. And we lost the third time we played them. Then in April, Obi Toppin starts at the 4, gets 27, and the Knicks win big. But that was the end of the season. Here we go. Okay. So the Knicks should take care of business against Orlando. I'm expecting that. And they're at home again against LaMelo. And I'm expecting LaMelo Ball and them to be, full strength. Scary Terry and LaMelo Ball probably be full strength. Let me just take a look at their injury report. By the time they come to the Madison Square Garden. Yeah, Terry is day to day. LaMelo was out against the Hawks because of his ankle. He might be back. Cody Martin is day to day. I expect them to both be full strength by the time they come to the Garden. And LaMelo Ball loves the lights at Madison Square Garden. So that's going to be interesting. So it's going to get tougher after tonight. Okay. The Knicks so far look good, but they're 1-1. So we got to take care of business here against Orlando to go 2-1 and then see what we could do after that. But tonight is another night for the Knicks to flex a little bit. Show that defense that Tom Thibodeau now has, with almost full contingent. We were concerned with the Fournier, Brunson defense. So far, it hasn't been a big liability. That might change. But, Grimes is not playing tonight. So you're going to get more Cam Reddish. And that's what making me feel good about the defense. You give Cam Reddish 20 minutes in place of Fournier and let Fournier play his 20-something minutes, then I think we'll be in good shape, okay? For tonight, Orlando is starting Cole Anthony. We know they don't have Markelle Fultz. They don't have Jalen Suggs. By the way, I was mentioning this yesterday. I'm disappointed in Suggs, man. I am. I mean, I can't. He's only in his second year, but I'll be honest. I expected him to be that kind of generational talent type dude. And I mean, maybe he will be. Still, can't start, marking him off in his second season, but he's injury. He gets hurt a lot, so far. And Fultz too. Fultz messed his knee up, then come back from that, broke his toe. These are not good omens, So Suggs is going to be out. Jonathan Isaac continues to be out. Gary Harris is out. Markelle Fultz is out, and Mo Wagner is out. So right now, Orlando's starting five is Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter. Paolo Banchero is a stud. There's no doubt he's going to be a stud, but he's a puppy. He's just getting started. So you can't expect him to carry this franchise right now. He's young, and I don't even think he's 20 years old. I think Paolo Banchero is like 19. I mean, he's a young man. I mean, yeah, he's 19 years old. He's going to be 20 next week, 2 weeks, in November 12th, he'll be 20. But he's 19 years old, man. So he's a young boy. I mean, he's going to be really good. I really think he is. He's going to be really good. But right now, it's hard for him to carry this team. So I'm expecting a Knicks W today at the Garden. It's going to be good. Just like Friday, I'm expecting them to play on all cylinders. Hopefully nobody gets hurt on either side, actually. And so then, that'll be a notch, another win for the Knicks. And we'll deal with Charlotte, on Wednesday. And Charlotte's going to come, like I said, they're going to come to the Garden. Scary Terry is a big-time player and big under the big lights. Been like that since he was in Boston. That's why he got the contract in Charlotte. LaMelo is LaMelo. And so even without Miles Bridges, this ain't going to be no easy thing. And like I said, they just blew out DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. They just blew them out yesterday. Okay, and it wasn't even close. And I'm sitting here watching this game, and I'm like, how they beating these guys like this? I mean, but they just straight beat them. And, well, part of the reason was Atlanta lives by the three and dies by the three. And yesterday they died by the three. They was hoisting up a lot of three-pointers, wasn't dropping for them. Trae Young wasn't dropping for them. Jonte wasn't dropping them. And they didn't have Bogdanovich, who's a three-point specialist. And so they'll be better once they get him back. But yesterday they were dying by the three. That's as simple as that. Simple as that. And Dennis Smith Jr. ran the offense for Charlotte at a high level yesterday. He played the best ball I've ever seen him play as a pro. He looks like a very polished point guard now. I guess it takes time, right? But yeah, he looked like a very polished point guard. He handled his business yesterday. So that being the case, tonight, 7:30, game is on. I won't be watching it. Afterwards, we're going to be hanging out with my man Jay Ellis and the crew at Nick of Time, doing the post-game thing. We hope to see y'all there. Y'all enjoy your day. Happy Monday. Be safe out there. So